Hello everyone and welcome to Games, Comics and Crafts.
In this series of videos, I'll be looking at the Judge Dredd case files in order and picking out the most prominent and important stories, as well as noting some artists and writers that actually appear in these books. Okay, so this is case file 13. Mostly a collection of short stories in this one. It's kind of the calm before the storm. There is a major event coming up in Judge Dredd, which could be in volume 14, and this is kind of just some small stories to kind of pass the time between then and the last event. But there is a few bits in here that kind of tie into that. And something isn't actually included in this one or in Volume 14 that I'll get to when I do the review of Volume 14 that is very, very important to that major event. But anyway, we'll look at this one as we go through here. So again, we've got like a another thin one because of the fact that it's his glossy colour stuff for the majority of it. About 97% of this is colour. We start off with this one, which is a parody of the old acid house parties back in the day. Yep, it's all right, not too bad. And then we get to a John Higgins, which is pretty decent, about a moped that breaks down on the street, and it's the worst street to break down on because apparently if you break down that you're going to get robbed, and they get attacked by various people and they almost drown in their own thing. And yeah, good stuff. Very, very nice Higgins artwork. Meeting Your Enemy is a kind of a face-off between Dredd and this assassin, and it turns out that the assassin is related to Stan Lee, who we've seen a couple of times before, and it's a Dredd robot, and she's basically just trained against that Dredd robot. I don't know if she ever comes. I don't ever remember her appearing again. Now I could be wrong because there was definitely some 2080s when it's kind of era that I missed like the odd week or two. So when we get to volume 15, 16, let's see if she shows up. Of course, she could have just died in the next event, so we'll see. Okay, Banana City. This is Will Simpson artwork, fantastic. This is a very, very good one. So Dredd is masquerading as a another judge in uh, Banana City, which is kind of like Mexico and kind of all that way. Um, in order to try and find a asset that is gone missing. Now that asset, or well, not technically an asset, that person that has gone missing is Crazy Mo from sorry, Crazy Barry and Little Mo from a previous film where it was going to be uh, Barry and Mo go bananas. This is it. So Anderson is there basically as like with another judge kind of look at the kind of the ambassador kind of looking at this thing. They find out the judges have got this massive wave of corruption in there. You can effectively buy yourself out of justice if if you've had too much problems. And Dredd basically disguised as as kind of a Banana City judge goes around and tries to find Mo. It's a good one. It's a good story. Uh, that picture of Hershey, love it. Um, but yeah, very, very cool. It's the Will Simpson artwork is fantastic. And the story is kind of a nice little kind of rounds up that little kind of continuity from we had before. Then we get In the Bath, which is basically someone breaking into Dredd's apartment while he's in the bath, and he manages to take them all out. This is I think this is Mackie artwork, I believe. Oh no, it's Bakey, not Mackie. Sorry. Nice artwork, very, very good. And then we've got what we've got next. We have okay, John Cassavetes is dead. Now, this is another good one. Um, so basically, they break in this Elster who's got crime blitz on it, and it turns out this Elster is basically stacking up all this old newspapers and magazines and all this kind of stuff as well. And obviously they're illegal in Mega City One. And Dredd kind of finds them all and starts looking them over and kind of goes, yeah, does it really matter? The reason that John Cassavetes is dead, is that going to affect Mega City One? And is it any harm for these people to learn anything about their past? And he's wavering a little bit. We're getting in this kind of like this Dredd is kind of like he's seen a few too many things that have caused issues for him in the recent months, and every so often he's kind of questioning what's going on. Um, Artwork's very, very good. So we're on to next, which is actually. Do you know what? So, it's the one to do with the. Yeah, it's okay. This is the one where they've basically got a moped, mobile home that goes round, and it never has stopped. And for the entire time, there's a family on there that basically lived on this kind of mobile home for the entire time. That goes all the way through the robot wars and the apocalypse war and all this kind of stuff, block mania. And it turns out they've done 10 million kilometers, and there's a mass accident, and everyone dies apart from Granny. Quite a good one. Near-death experience, not too bad. This is Anderson is involved in this one. So basically, this guy is not dead. They think he's dead, but he's not. When he gets sent to Recyc, and it turns out that he's basically been paralyzed, and he attempted to kill somebody using this kind of gassy, poisonous stuff, and it breaks out into the block and basically kills loads and loads of people. So he's done. He gets put to justice. Okay. Accident, death of a citizen. This one's pretty decent. Kind of, again, this is another little short story, but a child's tale. So basically, this lady here is deaf. She can't hear Dredd coming. And Dredd kind of tells her to get away, and she kind of like smacks into her and kills her. And it's about this little kid who basically is really upset with Dredd, and it's kind of like how the judge is trying to do something about it, and it doesn't really work. And Dredd actually goes to visit him and kind of says, this psychological damage or whatever, and he says, okay, you can keep calling by, but probably best to leave it. I don't think that was followed up with anything, but again, it's another kind of these small mega city stories that round out the lore of the thing. I really like it. Confessions of PJ Maybe. PJ Maybe is one of my favourites. Lean Shop artwork again. So they catch PJ Maybe, and they basically gives a rundown of all of the kind of the past PJ Maybe stories and how he did it, who he killed, what order. There's a kind of a takeover of the jeans company that he was working for. Sorry, the trouser company he was working for, or his parents were working for. And he basically uses a robot to try and frame his uncle to think that there's a hitman or something going on there. Again, it's another good one. PJ Maybe stories are really, really good. And even though he's caught, this is not the last we're going to see of PJ Maybe, because he was. Elm Street Nightmare is a really weird one, which is basically Dredd versus Freddy Krueger kind of thing. Although it's he kills a lot of kids and in Elm Street, and he's kind of running around, and he thinks he's dead, but then it turns out it might just be someone dreaming him. Weird one. Dead Jube's Curve, basically kind of like a racing story. There's two gangs of kids trying to race on this part of the big speedway, and it's infamous for killing loads of people. Lots of people die in it. The Winged Pride is a pretty decent one as well. A little short story with the destroyed parts of Megacity being toured by the judges, and there's a ghost there. And it turns out this ghost is the ghost of this woman who her husband or boyfriend or whatever was in a coma at the time and was being kept alive by this machine. And when the nukes come down from the apocalypse war, it basically kills everybody else in the kind of sector, apart from this guy, because he's being kept alive by this machine, even though he's kind of got virtually no kind of life signs. And they basically kill the guy, turn off the light, and he's reunited in ghost form with his girlfriend. That's a good one. Kirby's Demon's quite good, where this kid summons a little demon up, does bad things and kills people. Although does it, or is he just a mad kid that acts murders people? Interesting one. Curse of Spider-Man is the polar opposite to Curse of Spider-Woman, where we see someone that thinks they've got the spider curse and goes insane and basically tries to kill themselves. Doesn't work. The Amazing Ant-Man, where we've got some giant ants. Again, we've got square artwork. I mean, you can't really argue with this. We have a story about giant ants, but it's square, fantastic. Not too bad. Hot Pants about these self-heating wife fronts that this kid gives his dad for birthday and end up bursting into flames, and he causes a mass chain of disaster that kills loads of people. Play a Day, which is a kids show, which goes a bit wrong when the main host finds out his co-stars and co-star and his wife are having an affair. Cardboard City is a quite good one. This follows up on some early stuff. This is Cam Kennedy artwork. So this follows up on Maria, the house keeper for Dredd, and Dredd goes to try and find her, and basically she's really upset with him. And I can't reason why, what it is. It must be something to do with Walter and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, she does want to go back, and she wants to stay out on the streets, and there's bad stuff going on there. Some gangs going on there. Maria gets involved in it, and it's a good three-parter. Which kind of just catches up on these little kind of plot hooks that are left dangling from previous stories. Um, Dodgy Issue is about a citizen trying to take the Justice Department to task in all of their stuff that's happened, and it doesn't quite go to plan, which I think is a parody of the Cook Report back in the day from the 80s. So that's quite cool. We then have Monkey's Tale about a monkey that's sentient, which we see quite a few sentient monkeys in Dread stories, and this is a pretty decent one. Again, it kind of throws itself. It's a kind of self-controlled by this guy, and he's dying and he can't do anything, so he goes around this monkey and Dread kills the monkey, so he's got no control. And it's pretty decent. Creations of Rottweiler, not too bad. Quite nice artwork again as well. We've got this dog that basically just goes around, and it turns out the dog is the brain of a woman's husband is transferred into this dog, and it turns out that the dog was kind of taken away by the woman, and he thought his life was going to continue as normal, and it turns out that she just ends up treating him like a dog. And once again, she moves her boyfriend in, and he's not very happy about it, so he signs up for confession. It's a pretty decent story. Um, Shooting Match is now. This is where it gets. This is where we get into the tie-in stories for the big event for the next issue, next collection. So, Shooting Match is a competition between Dredd and this mysterious cadet with the white helmet. And it turns out this cadet is uh the Judge Kraken, and Kraken's going to be a full judge. And Dredd is a little bit again. It's more signs of Dredd getting old, and kind of like, oh yeah, Dredd's kind of going to see it coming, kind of thing. It might get what's kind of see what's going on. This is something important. Now this is another good one, Judge Giant. So he's a young giant. Now I was a massive fan of Judge Giant back in the day. I was quite disappointed when he died in Blockmania. But it turns out he had an extrajudicial affair, and he has a son. And they find him after he's been grown up for some time. And it turns out his mother was killed by this kind of fight club torture kind of manager, torture kind of group that was putting stuff on TV. And being a cadet, they go after this group of gang of people, and they eventually track him down. And Dredd basically kind of watches over him to see what he's going to do, and see if he's going to kind of murder the guy and basically fail his cadetship by killing the guy. And it turns out not quite. He's a little bit more kind of got more restraint than he thought he had. Yeah, good story. Again, anything that brings Giant back, fantastic. Politics again, there's another kind of Democracy Now kind of storyline, not too bad. Pays to be mental. Yep, it's okay. It's a weird one because it's a 4th wall breaker, and I don't like 4th wall breakers. So yeah, okay, that's fine. But it's all right. Little Spuggy's Christmas. Yeah, little mini story, not too bad. Again, artwork's nice in it as well. And then we have this one, which is Family Affair. Again, I cannot remember what this one's about. But it's yeah, again, it's a lot of these self-contained stories are kind of, you kind of forget that they are. And then we've got a Human Fly story. which again isn't too bad. Artwork again. There's some really nice Dredd artwork in this stuff. Let's Judge Dredd as well. Again, artwork in this is beautiful. So I believe, unless I'm mistaken, this is Will Simpson again. Yes, it is. Now, so this is an interesting one. So it's basically asking about kind of why is the world the way it is, and it's again it's another kind of Dredd questioning the way that Mega City works. But that's gonna come up later on. So Tales of the Dead Man is next, or Tale of the Dead Man is next in this Dredd thing. Now, the point that being is very, very important. At this current point in time, they were running a parallel story called Tales of the Dead Man, that was written under a pseudonym from John Wagner, I believe it was Wagner, that actually tied into the next big event. And everyone kind of knew it was kind of like a Cursed Earth kind of storyline, but not being written by Wagner, they didn't actually know what it was going to be about. I will elaborate on that as we get to the next book, but it was really cool because it crossed over with, it was kind of being told at the same time these issues were being put out, and then it kind of like jumps backwards when you get to the next event. It's kind of like, oh, this you've read that now over the last kind of 8 weeks or whatever, 12 weeks or whatever it is. This is where this fits into this storyline, and then the kind of rest of it carries on. Very, very good. The only problem being is that trade is a bloody nightmare to get hold of now, and I'm not quite sure they did not include it in volume 14. But when we get to volume 14, we'll look at that one. So there you go. So there you go. Volume 13 again. Some kind of highlights in there. One or two stories are particularly good, and it's again we're running that kind of same kind of Dredd as a slight disgruntled judge through this entire volume. But all in all, yeah, kind of like give it like a 7, 8 out of 10. There's nothing in there that's inherently bad. It's just there's nothing in there that stands out as, massively important, or oh, it's a classic. But artwork wise, Simpson artwork. I love Will Simpson's artwork in this stuff. I might have mentioned before I've got a Will Simpson Constantine that he drew for me. So I'm very, very happy with that. So yeah, this is very, very cool. So there you go. That's pretty much what I can say about this volume. We will come back for volume 14 soon. And I will say thanks very much. And hopefully I will see you on another video very as well. Bye bye.